Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the Professor's Picks alongside the man himself, Mr. Ken Golden of the Laser's Edge. What's happening, Ken?
Hey, what's happening? I'm awake.
Yes. And as some of you, well, you don't know this, we're actually, for the first time ever, taping this on an actual Friday. That is the release day of all this stuff. Normally, we tape these on Thursdays, but
Thursday.
Ken,
I got to be honest. I actually like, in a way, I like this better because this is a real snapshot of what we have here. So it's a better approximation. But hey, Pete, I am at your disposal.
okay, there you go.
When you tell me you want to record these things, I will record them.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So,
without further ado, I'll turn it over to Ken. He's got
all
lots.
right. So before we get into what we got, what we don't have, what's coming, one thing I wanted to mention. I got an email from a customer yesterday who was upset because they received a Z machine and it wasn't in the shrink wrap, and they thought I was shipping them used goods. We don't sell used goods. If you go to our Discogs page, it's possible it'll be very clearly indicated that it's something that's secondhand. But you buy from our website, you're buying factory fresh goods. We don't sell used goods. But the other thing is, not everything we receive is in shrink wrap. And the gentleman who emailed me yesterday, he's not alone. I get, with more frequency than you would expect, get emails about this. And often, if I'm dealing directly with bands, we get CDs come in without shrink wrap. And also in Europe, it's spreading across Europe now. It started in the Netherlands, I believe. Netherlands passed a law in 2022 that they outlawed the use of one-time plastic. So shrink wrap went the way of the dodo bird, and so it's very, very common to get something from Europe that doesn't have shrink wrap. Also, one other thing, sometimes we get in stuff with broken jewel cases, and I don't want to send something out with a broken jewel case, so we swap them out. So if you get something that's, we want you to get it in perfect condition, and but we get damaged goods all the time. The way bands and distributors pack the stuff, you wouldn't believe how some of these things come in, and sometimes it's a miracle that they come in not damaged. I'm going to just show you something. So I can't sell these. I hope this comes through. If I could show this on the video. I brought in the Who, these box sets, right, of Lifehouse. I don't know if I can get the camera to see it. You see that damage?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's how I can't sell this. I won't sell this. So, distributor's going to give me a credit for it. And, so you have to understand, we don't sell used goods, but things happen. And, the way you get it is the way we wanted you to get it. So.
And the way you got it, yeah.
Way I got it, yeah. So, Z Machine, they're doing this on a budget, and they didn't shrink wrap them, and that's how they came in, and that's how they go out. So, I don't have a shrink wrapping machine here. And the first thing you do when you get them, you tear off the shrink wrap and you throw it away. So, all right, let's so let's get into it. I'm a man down this week, so it's been a little chaotic, and hopefully everybody got their goods intact, and if they did, it was by my magic hand. a ton of stuff came in this week, and a ton more is on the way. I'm literally running out of room on the front of the website. I'm somehow going to have to get creative. All right, the first thing, there are no pre-orders this week. Nothing new. I did get word that Camel is supposed to ship mid-February, whatever that means. So I'm expecting in the next week or two, we'll get some word on the Camel repress of the Airborne box set. Key restocks. We got in. Oh, let me get Prezi going. I'm sorry, I'm a little disorganized. All right, first restock. I'm doing everything alphabetically today. This is a great one. Energit. Yep. So it's the 2-on-1 from the Czech jazz rock fusion band. Got a little bit of Latin energy to it. Also, it's the two albums, Energy and Picnic. We finally got back in Moon Garden, Himmelbacken Volume 2.
Moon Safari, actually.
What did I say?
Moon Garden.
Yeah, they're coming. Moon Safari. Thank you. I told him I'm a little out of it. I'm a little bit in la la land today. We got in No Spoon back, Opus. They're selling like mad. Finally got a restock on Satin Whale. Did you ever get to listen to those?
Oh yeah.
I think they're great. So
Yeah.
the 5-disc set. Zed Machine. Got a quick restock from the band. Let me take a sip. Let's start hitting the new CDs because I got a lot of them. From Norway, reissue of Alf Emil Ike, Joy and Breath of Eternity. Alf Emil Ike, one and done guy. I think this is 1979. I'm doing this from memory. Sort of like a Mike Oldfield. Like he's a one-man band, but it's prog rock and it kind of moves into jazz rock in places. Now the next one, I got to admit, I don't know anything about these guys, but man, it's selling like crazy. It's an Italian band called Aurora Lunare, Terzo Luogo. People out there, they know more about it than me because they're buying it.
And look at that cover. They're buying it for that cover, I think.
Maybe I couldn't find sound files. I put the label's bio up there, and it must be a hell of a bio because people are buying this thing like it's not nailed down. So do your research, guys and girl. Next thing.
Just one of them.
This one. And she knows who she is. Right? Next thing we got Bigul Source, Charcoal Grace. Just saw these guys in Philly this past week. Man, that was a loud show. I have to admit, I literally, I've never worn earplugs to shows. Pete, if you could recommend good earplugs, you go to a lot of shows. You don't use like the shit that they sell in the drugstore, right?
I use cheap ones. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta get something good. I don't go to
There's all sorts. You could spend all sorts of money on earplugs.
Yeah. I maybe like a look at like etymologic research or something like that. Let's see. All right. Next one. I'm going to be jumping back all over Europe because I'm doing this through the alphabet. Dive project. This started out as a project by a prog rock fanzine from Italy years and years ago, and it's evolved into this sort of all-star symphonic, what they call RPI, Rock Progressivo Italiano. So there's all kinds of guys from all different bands playing on this thing. It's kind of cool. Next one. This is not for me, but you know who you are. Electra Storm, Power Lords. So we're not supposed to call it female fronted metal anymore. It's apparently that's considered offensive. I don't know. It's non-male lead vocal metal, power metal. So
yeah, most people nowadays say it's just power metal. Who cares if it's a male or female or singing? It's just power metal.
Yeah, unfortunately, people care. So
yeah, well, the only reason we ever pointed out is because there's always been so few that did that. Now there's many bands that have female singers, so it's
right. So
we don't need to point it out anymore. Yeah.
So it's misogynistic or something if we.
Yeah, I get it.
Female
makes sense.
Even though it's female fronted power metal. Here's another one. Esperfall, Act 1, Origins and Darkness. This one is more of like a Beauty and the Beast thing. I believe they're Hungarian, but they sing in English. So you get the coarse male vocals and the the soprano type female vocals. Another Italian one. Favola, Castrum Zumalarum. That's easy to say. This is I believe this is their second album. It's like a medieval prog rock opera. Next one. This is a good album. Håkan Graf, John Christensen, and I can't pronounce Ovenso's first name. I forget it. They Hakan Graf was the keyboard player in Rufus, Moose Loose. He's been in all kinds of bands. And this is sort of moving a little bit towards the ECM direction. It's called Hideaway. It's just a
I was
trio,
gonna say that cover looks totally like an ECM.
doesn't it?
one,
Right.
yeah.
It's just keyboards, bass, drums. But Hakan, I mean, it's not. He's playing synthesizers. He's all over the place. It's very, very good. Another one. This is a reissue from Norway. Hayden's. So the story with this came out. This actually was recorded in like 1974. It's only an EP, and then in the early 90s there was a short-lived vinyl label called Colors, and they put out, if I remember correctly, they did the first Angligard album on vinyl. I think could be wrong about that, but they did a lot of interesting vinyl, and they put it out back then, and now it's the first time it's on CD. So yeah, 74 Norwegian prog rock, but again, EP. Next thing is a band that George talked about a bit, and if it's not good, we could all kill him. Vasil Hadzimanov Band, Keef. Are you familiar with him?
I've heard a couple of his albums. Yeah, he's really
So
good.
this is his new one, and I asked George about it. He had not heard it, but let's kill George anyway. So, but I listened to some of it. It's on streaming. Very, very good keyboard-oriented fusion saxophone, but full band. And what little I've heard, given the fact that it showed up here yesterday afternoon, sounded very good to me. Original album collection. This is, I believe, yeah, it's a 6 CD set. We know that because we look at the little album covers on the cover. From Corny Grupa and Cornell Kovak. So Cornell Kovak was a great. Well, I don't know if he's Serbian or Croatian, probably Croatian, but at the time it was Yugoslavia. So we'll call former Yugoslavia. He's a great keyboard player, and Corny Grupa was his band. Some of you may be familiar with one of the albums that are on here because it was released in Italy and Yugoslavia under the name of Cornelians, Not an Ordinary Life, which had English vocals. But what you get here are basically the first Corny Grupa album, which is very organ dominated, proto-prog. It's like, I think it's like 1969, 1970. It's very early. Okay. You get the Cornelians album. You get this other album, which was released originally as a double album, where the first, this was released after the band broke up. The first album for CD is a live album. The second one was like a best of compilation of their singles. And then we get into some of his solo albums. The first solo album, I remember being very, very good. So, and it's a good deal. It's 6 discs in one of these, they come in the little CD wallets. It was, for me, it was a shock to discover that this even exists.
I'm surprised they put that out. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. I mean, yeah. All right, another Hungarian Beauty and the Beast band, Meteora of Shades and Colors. Not my thing, but if you like it, where are you going to find Hungarian Beauty and the Beast metal?
Nowhere. Very few places.
Let me give me 1 sec, okay? So next we have from Italy. These guys are very popular. Moon Garden. It's a double CD. It's a concept album. Christmas Night 2066. Cristiano Reversi. Symphonic prog. Hard to pigeonhole them. They have much more of a contemporary feel. I wouldn't say like this is a 70s sounding band. This is, probably owes more to, like, broadly speaking, like a Marillion or one of the English bands. And it's all English vocals. Now we're going back to the Czech Republic. I got 2 albums by, I apologize, I'm going to destroy his name, Czech Law Neeman. I've got his first, I believe this is his first solo album called Neeman Enigmatic. And then the second one, which is a double, which is the first one is Enigmatic. The second one, this one, the red cover, it's also referred to as the Red Album, is Neeman Enigmatic. So this guy was an incredible keyboard player, played other instruments. This is like the first one here, 1969. I think this one is like 1970. Very, very ambitious. On the first album, I'm going to make everybody dizzy jumping back and forth. On this one, it opens up with like a 20-minute piece with like choirs and stuff. You feel like you're in church. And then all of a sudden, like the band kind of kicks in. He kicks in with the organ. Very, very progressive. He also touched on like he did some like almost like free jazz albums. Not that these are particularly bad. This one of the two, the double, this one's really kind of the monster. This is like full band. He's playing organ, ripping guitar on this thing, long tracks, really, really solid stuff. But again, you got to keep in mind, this is like real early stuff. So, next one is from, if you guys like space rock, have I got the band for you? Orison Space Collective. It's called Carnival in Portugal, and I gotta show you this cover. You can't really see it. I gotta hold this thing up. Look at this cover.
Wow, that is pretty impressive.
Really cool. So I love this band. The story with these guys, it's like an improvisational space rock quartet. Not quartet, actually. It's there's a lot of people playing on these albums, and these projects are put together by a keyboard player named Scott Heller, goes by the name of Dr. Space. So you have a lot of people playing on this. You got the drummer from Agusa. You got Matthias Olsson on here. You have Hasse Hargmo on bass from Tangle Edge. Luis Simoes from Saturnia on guitar. Scott Heller on keyboards. There's just so many people playing on this thing. They're unbelievably prolific. I can't tell you how many CDs or releases they put out a year. Have you heard any of this stuff?
I've heard a couple of their albums. Yeah,
they're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, so the nature of these albums really is they kind of start as jam sessions, and they kind of cobble it together into something cohesive.
To me, I always thought they kind of were like a much looser version of like Osric Tentacles.
Yes, that's a good way. It's got that cosmic keyboard sound, got some really great guitar. This one, we'll hold it up. This is, again, not shrink wrap, guys. It's really nicely done. And Tim Wallander is the drummer from Agusa. I should have known that. Martin Weaver from Wicked Ladies playing on guitar. Jonathan Segel from Camper Van Beethoven. He's on here. It's really kind of nice. Anyway, this one even has some like Latin flavors. They recorded this one in Portugal, and it opens up with a 36-minute song. You got a lot of music here, and of course it has a track called Snake Fucker. So how could you not want that? So, but anyway, if you like space rock, you got to try these guys. They're fantastic. I mentioned I have it on vinyl as well. Okay, next, Pineapple Thief. This comes in 4 versions. We have a Blu-ray with all the high-res content. We have the standard CD, and we have a 4-disc yearbook. And can I take 1 minute to rant? I hate mini LP sleeves. Even though I did them for like the modulus releases, they are the biggest pain in the ass. Because they slow you down packing because they don't fit in a CD mailer. So we got to put them in DVD mailers. Just saying, they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so, they need to be the same size as
regular CDs. What's even worse. I got a CD in by a band called Logos, where it was the standard height of a CD, but it was marginally about a 16th or a 32nd of an inch wider than a regular CD. It won't fit in my mailer. No, now it's got to go in a DVD mailer. All right, I'm done bitching. Next one. Pluto. So Pluto, I sold one of his first album a long time ago. Pluto was not a one and done. He was a one-man band, kind of like he's like a Norwegian Mike Oldfield, where he sort of plays everything. And I got two albums from him. This one is called Overture. I think this was his second album. And then they just came out with this. It's called Soundtracks for Inner Movies. It was an unreleased album, something he recorded way back when that never came out. And now they finally put it out. Moving on, the alphabet. Progress 2. And I can't pronounce the Czech title at all, but there was an English language version of this album called The Third Jungle Book. So just for today, patronize me. Call it Third Jungle Book. It's just because I can't. They were prog rock. It's a double album, and it's got more of like a Pink Floyd, Eloy, like spacey feel to it. It's not like a Yes or an ELP or anything like that, but it's clearly a prog rock album. It's a concept piece. Oh, we've got here Revolution Saints Against the Winds, Dean Castronovo, Jeff Pilson, Joel Hoekstra. More what?
Melodic
metal.
Melodic metal. Yeah,
very popular. Okay, the Samurai of Prague, Omnibus 3. I should have been prepared. Let me grab one. So, what they've been doing, because with these Samurai Progs, they're really popular, but they go out of print after a while. So what they do is they kind of they bundle them. So this has The Lady and the Lion, The White Snake, The Spaghetti Epic 4, and Anthem to the Phoenix Star. And they put bonus tracks on them. And they're at a budget price. And, and there's just a million different people playing on these things. And it's symphonic prog.
That's some album cover there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could see it. I don't know if I could do a better job or worse, but yeah. See it in reverse, right? Next thing. Popular Italian band, Sindone, Dirty 30, 1992 to 2022. So Sindone, kind of an interesting Italian band. They touch on sort of the 70s sound, but this is a little more contemporary, and it's got new tracks, and it has them revisiting and reworking some old material. Time. Yugoslavian band. I believe this was their first album. Good. You had that one?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah. A lot of organ on that.
It's kind of got a little bit of like a Deep Purple vibe, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
In a sense, like early. Yeah. It's good stuff. Next one I think is phenomenal. And I mentioned to Pete before we started recording, this one's going like crazy. So we're almost out of them, but we should have a few by the time this runs later today. Pal Thosin, John Christensen, Terry Ripdahl, Harold Anderson, No Time for Time. This is the best Terry Ripdahl album that was never released as a Terry Ripdahl album. It came out on the Zarepta label, didn't come out on ECM. And it was really like a Pal Thosin session. And here's the cool part. So Pal Thosin is a Norwegian drummer. John Christensen is a drummer as well. You got the great Harold Anderson on bass and Terry Ripdahl on guitar. So you get Pal Falson in one channel, John Christensen in the other, and this is just a great fusion album. And I would expect by the end of the weekend it's going to be gone, if not this evening. Okay, we've got The Trip. So this is weird. The Trip was a great Italian prog band in the 70s, led by Joe Vescovi, and Joe passed away. And there are now, this is like Wishbone Ash, there's like two versions of The Trip. So this is led by the original drummer.
As if one wasn't enough, right?
Right. But the funny thing is, both versions of the band are actually pretty good. So this is led by the original drummer. The other version of the Trip, which we sell, was by Friero Chirico, who was the second drummer. And yeah, it's real good keyboard, heavy, retro prog. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is like part in English, part in Italian. But it's got the sound, and it's pretty good. Next, this is the last CD, I promise. Vanessa, City Lips. So Vanessa was a Norwegian prog band, and we sold their second album. This is their first album, is really much better. This is the rare album. The second album was released on the Compendium label. This one, I think, was either on a small label or independent or on self-released. This is really good, interesting, and a bit odd jazz rock. I would say maybe a little bit of like a Canterbury feel to it, but good. A lot of really cool keyboard work. So this is, if you want to take a chance with Vanessa, City Lips is the one to grab. All right, vinyl, and then we're out of here. We did really well with Muriel Grossman, Devotion, and actually, I sold out of the CD twice. I'll have more copies on Monday, but I decided to bring in the vinyl. Did you get a chance to check it out, Pete?
Really good.
Yeah, and she's great. And
she's really, I mean, the whole band is great. It's
yes,
not like it's all saxophone. I mean, there's some great guitar work on there. The keyboard work is great. It's really good. Yeah.
And you know what I like about the guitar? It sounds like he's playing it like a hollow body, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But he's got a really nice feel. And in a way, I'm sort of reminded just a little bit of like a Pat Martino, the way he plays. And I like the organ. It's just, yeah, it's a little different. And she touches on that whole sort of spiritual feel. She studied with Joachim Kuhn. She's a real serious player. And she's coming over here. And I just asked about Philadelphia show, and I was told a few minutes ago that it's under discussion, under negotiation. They're sorting it out. So she's going to do a tour here. I'm sure she'll play New York. I don't know where else, but if she comes over, you got to go check Muriel out. She's fantastic, and all her albums are great. This is the new one. I mentioned when I had the CD. She is now with Third Man Records, Jack White's label. And I have to say, I was not much of a fan of Third Man Records pressings. This was pretty good. It was dead quiet. So it's very nice. The next one, this is an absolutely insane album. Takeshi Inamata and Sound Limited, Innocent Canon. Japan had this thing in the 70s where they had these big band outfits that would get really experimental. And this album is so over the top. It was recorded in 1971 for King Records. It was released on vinyl only as a promo. It's unbelievably rare. And then in 2007, they put it out on CD, and then they reissue it. It finally got a vinyl reissue. This is big band orchestra with acid guitar, weird spoken word in places. It's like psychedelic big band jazz rock. It's incredible. It's absolutely, for some people who said it's too much. It's not too much. It's just right. And I love this record. And yeah, it's expensive, but man, you got to have this thing. It is so good. All right. Wrapping up here, we just have, I mentioned before, we have Orson Space Collector, we have Pineapple Thief, and we have Progress 2, again, Third Jungle Book. And that's what I got this week, man. I'm gonna rest up get ready for the Super Bowl.
That's a lot of stuff you got there. Oh, it's Super Bowl weekend. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't watch it, so I can care less.
Yeah, but you know what? It'll keep me away from packing orders for 4 hours. Yep. I'll even watch Usher at the halftime if it means I don't have to sit here with the tape gun in my hand.
You need a break.
Yeah, hopefully Jim will be back. So
cool. Well, Jim, I hope you feel better, Jim.
Oh, yeah, I guess the last thing I may have mentioned at the beginning, a lot of stuff in transit to us. We have shipment coming from Argentina. We have more stuff coming from the UK, a lot of stuff coming from the UK. We got some good gray area stuff coming, some interesting stuff, and some more cheap shit. So
Okay.
next week will be busy, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to present it on the front of the site. So if you buy a lot and buy often, clear out some space for me.
So you put the new stuff in.
So I have room to put the new stuff. Otherwise, I got to go to the web guys and ask them to redesign the front of the site. I don't know
Yeah,
how. Well, maybe
it's
I
a
have to
good
go out and
problem to
buy.
have.
Yeah, maybe I have to. Everybody have to go out and buy bigger monitors or something. I don't know. So
It's a good problem to have, I think, to have lots of stock and lots of stock that's flying off the shelf. And yeah,
it's all right. Hey,
so as always, we'll have down in the comments below, I'll pin a comment that'll have the list of all the items discussed today and showed today, as well as the link to order. So again, make sure buy often, buy lots, buy lots, buy often. There you go. Oh, you got to have to show that, right?
yeah, I guess. Oh wait, let me turn off. Let me turn off Prezi. There we go. So yeah, we got
Brand new Steve Hackett.
yeah. Is it next weekend?
I think so. Yeah.
I think next Friday. So we got our shipment of that coming in. They're starting to trickle in, and then we got Whom Gods Destroy coming in. They're already here. So, unfortunately, we can't ship early, but we have them. So
Cool. Sounds good. So see everybody next week here on the Professor's Picks. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Down below there in the comment section, all the items shown and talked about today. And we'll see you tomorrow for the UK connection and Sunday for ranking the albums. For Ken Golden, I'm Pete Pardo. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
take care.